Good morning. I gotta tell you, this is Carl, this is Donna. Welcome to Rambling On, and it is Bloody Mary Mondays.
Carl, it's Saturday.
I've had 6.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars.
Today, we thought we'd take a minute and just chat with you about being newbie campers. And
Hold on, I got an idea.
okay,
I just want to say, and you guys know this, right? Our rig is in the shop.
Ugh.
And it has been in the shop, and it is going to continue to be in the shop. So when that happens to YouTube people, to YouTubers, when stuff like that happens, unexpected, unforeseen, what we have a problem with is coming up with some good content. So today, and Donna was getting ready to tell you, we're just going to do some reminders, things you probably know and do all the time, but they're just little etiquette reminders for around the campground.
especially there's a lot of new people camping. I just hit the table, I apologize. There's a lot of new people camping, and it's always good to take stock and remember, what kind of etiquette to have around the campground.
And I'm sorry for the little bit of Southern accent that you are experiencing right now from me, but we have been binge watching Ozark.
We chose this together.
You were a good salesman.
This would be the end of the day for the one.
And 6 Bloody Marys in.
Not really 6.
Anyway, on that note, I just wanted to go over a couple of reminders of things just to help you guys out, and certainly things that we've experienced, right? And the main thing that I want to say is, when you go camping, you look forward to it, and you're very excited about it. You have high expectations, right? And when you get a campground, your initial when you first get there, first impressions are important, right? And it can kind of set the mood for the rest of your trip. So I just want to say, keep a positive attitude when you guys get there. Set your expectations high, but let the little things go. If your neighbor's too loud, or stays up later than you do, or maybe gets up a lot earlier than you wanted to, put earplugs in, go back to bed. Try to let the little things go and don't let them ruin your trip,
And
right?
this is also a good remedy for that stress.
I don't know about that. But the other thing is, if something needs to escalate, if it's really getting to you, if it's something that you just can't handle, don't take it upon yourselves to try to remedy it. Take it to the campground management. They're great people. They've done this a lot. They know what they're doing, and they can help resolve your issues without you having to get into the middle of a brawl in the middle of your campground. That's not what we want to do. And then, it's a lot of strangers put into a small space. So you've got to find ways to make that a happy environment for yourself, right? So you wanted to say a couple of things about it.
Yeah,
too.
just a few things. First of all, everywhere you go in our society, there are rules, right? There's speed limits, there's traffic signs, there's rules about what you do.
Enjoy your flight. Thanks. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. We're only boarding rows 9 and above right now. You'll have to wait.
Well, I'm in row 8.
Please step aside, sir.
It's just one row. Don't you think it's okay if I...
We'll call your row momentarily. Step aside, sir. Thank you for waiting. We'd like to continue boarding the aircraft now. We're now boarding all rows, please. All remaining rows.
And campgrounds, are no exception, unless of course you're boondocking and you're kind of out by yourself in the wilderness.
Right.
But a couple things, just reminders. You're probably already doing these things, but we thought we would just give you some reminders. Always obey the speed limit inside of a campground. They are usually set at 5 miles an hour, sometimes 10. Especially if you're under tow, you've got a little bit more weight. If you're going really fast, how often, and I think we all can tell a story or two about a child that either ran out in front of us in a campground or came out on a bicycle at 100 miles an hour. So
Dogs.
the dogs and pets, yeah. And so the number one thing I try to do when I'm inside of a campground is obey those speed limits. I'm guilty of sometimes getting absent-minded and zipping through, and that's an accident waiting to happen.
Last thing you want to do is play chicken with a 2-ton RV.
Yeah. Also, dogs on a leash. Donna and I, as you probably know, we have 3 dogs. We have Bentley, Coco, and Truman. And you gotta keep them on a leash. And you know what? I can't remember the last time we were at a campground and there was a dog off leash that shouldn't have been. So people pretty much follow that one.
Read the rules. They tell you what they expect. The campgrounds
They
all
always
have
give you
rules.
a flyer or a pamphlet or something that shows you all of their rules. And 9 times out of 10, the rules where you are staying are exactly like the rules in the place you stayed last time. They don't vary that much. Trash is a big one. Again, I don't recall seeing issues where people dump their trash at the side of the road. Some places they have you do that. You set your bags out at the end of your pad and they come by and pick them up, and that's fine. But just be mindful that you need to take care of your own trash. And then the big one, and I have a hard time with this because I like to leave my patio lights on and stuff, is most campgrounds have lights out at 10, and what they're talking about there are obnoxious lights, right? They don't care if you have some dim lighting around your rig or if you're sitting out on your patio and you've got a couple of lanterns going or something.
Yeah, everybody does that.
They're just talking about the big lights and headlights and all of that kind of stuff.
We'll turn our porch light on if we're coming in or going out or taking the dogs out, or we'll take a flashlight with us with the dogs. But just be aware when you come back in that you've left the porch light on. You know, you don't want to. Yeah.
We have forgotten a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And it can be very annoying and keep somebody awake that's in the camper right next to you. Sometimes
We've been kept awake, right?
Yeah, as Donna says, you're packed into most of these campgrounds, and a porch light can shine right into somebody's bedroom. So we try very hard to remember to shut that thing off.
Yeah.
So also a lot of campgrounds do, especially in the winter months, fall months, they allow fires, and that's really cool. But don't burn anything in the fire pit that you're not supposed to burn. Don't leave half-burned trash in a fire pit as you pull away.
Yeah.
The only thing that really should go in there is wood, logs, stuff that's trying to, what am I trying to say? Stuff that is meant to be burned in there.
I can't tell you how many fire pits we've run into where I've had to actually get a trash bag out and empty the pit before we could even use it. It's just not cool.
No, don't use the fire pit as your trash receptacle.
Right, yeah. I was gonna say, be a good neighbor. Be courteous to each other and be kind. This is a great opportunity for you to be kind in the world,
You're
right?
touching the table. Quit touching the table.
Sorry. I had to tie my hands. Don't cut through each other's campsites, right? I mean, we have a small space as it is, and don't let your kids run through the campsite. Don't cut through there with your dogs. Leave that space, sacred to their areas. And noise. A lot of campgrounds have rules about noise, turning noise off after 10, generators after 10. Especially when you're boondocking, you're usually running a generator, so they're very noisy, or can be. Most places, campgrounds, have noise rules about that. The other thing is, don't play Def Leppard at level 12 in the middle of my day, or play music too early in the morning, or whatever those kinds of noise things look like, right? Don't disturb your neighbors with those things. And in terms of noise, barking, right? One of the things that we do have bark collars for our dogs, and I think we've shared that with you guys before.
They're not the shocking kind. They're
No.
not cruel.
Technology has come a long way, and these bark collars are very creative now. Ours make a noise 3 times. The 3rd time is actually just a vibration, and I put it on my hand and I can feel it. There's no pain involved. What it does though is it redirects your dog's attention, and they get used to the sound of the beep, and they know that it's coming. And if they bark 3 times in a row, that's when they get the vibration. Our dogs are so used to it now, they hear that first sound, they immediately stop the barking behavior. And it's not even for when we're around, because when we're around, we be quiet, don't bark, whatever. It's for when we leave our dogs at the campsite and we go off into town to do things. I want to know that they're not barking all day long while we're gone.
Even though they're inside, as we all
Yeah.
know, you can hear them bark through either the windows
Yeah.
or just through the camper itself. So we are trying to be very cognizant of the fact that they can disturb the people next to
Right,
us.
and whatever that means to you, if you don't like bark collars, maybe you crate them, maybe you keep them in a bathroom, turn it into a little large size crate, right? Put their dog bed in there, give them some toys. Use a Kong toy and put peanut butter in it. It'll keep them busy for a while you're gone. Whatever that means to you, however you need to control it, it's just respectful of your neighbors to make sure that your dogs aren't annoying while you're gone.
On our last camping trip, the guy next to us, Donna and I, were leaving to go somewhere, and we noticed that his spigot water, there was water dripping from outside, from inside the rig onto the ground.
Pouring.
Something was running inside water-wise. They had left a faucet on, or something had sprung a leak. So I went over and shut off the water spigot.
Will be knocked.
Yeah, they weren't there.
Yeah.
Shut off the water spigot. The danger with that is maybe somehow, some way that was intentional. I don't think it was, but the idea is see something, say something. If you can stop a problem or solve a problem for somebody who may not be around their camper at the moment, that's usually the right thing to do, right? You're kind of paying it forward that, at least in our case, I hope that somebody would do that for me.
Right.
If they saw water pouring out of my RV, I would hope they would come and shut the spigot off for me. The other thing is when it is appropriate. We've all encountered different things on our trips. Always be willing to, if you would, to offer your expertise and your advice.
How much have we learned from other RVers?
Right. Sometimes they'll see you out there struggling with an issue, whether it's electrical or a water hose or whatever. And every now and then somebody will pop over and say, the way I do this is I XYZ. That is very helpful, and it's a very learning moment. Yeah. And again, it's kind of like paying it forward. It's like you do it for them. Down the road, somebody will do it for you and tell you something that maybe you didn't know.
And how often do we hope that somebody, our screw ups and our problems become somebody else's awareness, right? I mean, hopefully we can prevent somebody else from making the same mistakes that we have.
Yeah. And then my last one here, and this is kind of a love-hate thing. Do not distract somebody while they're trying to back in their RV. Oh. They are usually working with a spotter, a spouse or other.
Yeah.
And at least what happens to me is when people walk up to me and start talking to me or telling me how to do it, it messes up my plan that I might have going on with my spotter. And really the only person I want to trust is Donna when I'm backing in. We know how we each communicate.
Right.
I know when she says turn the wheel, I know what that means. I know her levels. Turn the wheel hard, turn the wheel slightly. Whatever that means to Donna and I is what works for us. It can be very distracting. Now, I said it was kind of a love-hate. Here's the love, right? There have been times when people have walked up to us and we needed their help backing in. There have been times when I've handed them my keys because I could tell they knew what they were doing and they backed me right in.
Yeah.
So it's a
Give him a minute.
fine line.
Yeah, give him a minute.
Let them take about 5 or 6 good stabs at it before you walk over there and offer to help. And I got to tell you, nobody has ever really thrown us off too bad. Sometimes we kind of wait till that person leaves and we straighten it back up and we get it the way we really want it. But just be very, very aware. There's a lot of psychology that goes around backing an RV in and being told how to do it and what to do by your spotter. And then
remember that guy at the balloon festival that tried to park us, and I don't know what he was used to parking, but oh my word.
Yeah, that was not a good day. That was not a good day.
It took like an hour. We could have done it by ourselves.
And he walked up and said, I do this for people all the time. Let me help you. So I'm thinking, cool, I got somebody that'll get us right in there. And we never got it in right while he was there.
Yeah.
Once he left, we did it. Now, that's not to say we're not grateful for anybody who offers to help. It's just a lot of times you got to use some really good judgment about the right time to go over and offer that help.
And there's been opportunities where Carl really wanted to do a drive around and try it one more time in his timeline, right? He wanted the practice. He wanted to get this right. He wanted to learn how to do it. So there are those moments where it's like, oh my God, I cannot take this. I've been on the road for 27 hours and 3 days and I just don't have it in me, you know? But there's other times where it's like, this is great. This is a good opportunity. I can get around that waste can or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So,
it's all about, as you know, anybody who backs in trailers of any kind, it's all about practice. It's all about getting used to the size and the length and the turning radius and unless you're doing it on your own, I like to try at least a good 5 or 6 times before I'm ready to give up.
I think 2 has been like his max.
Well, but my point is that if it takes 5 or 6, I'd rather try it 5 or 6 before I throw up my hands. And there was one place where when the guy offered, I'm like, do you want to do it? And he said yes. And I said, let me get out. Here's my keys.
Yeah.
Because there have been some situations where I knew I wasn't going to get it backed in properly. So
yeah, there's some crazy tight spots out there. And if we ever have an RV again, I'm going to learn how to park it too.
We have an RV.
Sorry, I don't think so.
We haven't seen it for about 4 months, but we have one.
I don't know.
Anyway, you guys, thanks for tuning in. And sorry that our content has not been earth-shaking and sky's the limit. It's just, it's part of what happens with a YouTube channel is sometimes you just don't have the exciting content
We're not going
to share.
anywhere. We're not getting to get out.
Yeah.
But we really, really appreciate you guys being here with us and being patient. And listen, don't forget to hit that like button.
Wait a minute.
What?
I got to tell you about my famous recipe here for the perfect Bloody Mary, at least for me.
Okay.
You can actually refer to it. If you bump the table again, I'm going to go make you sit in the living room. I'm joking with it. Anyway.
Sorry, guys.
This is my recipe, and I like it because it's simple and it makes a nice Bloody Mary that I enjoy drinking. This is simply 4 things. A little bit of ice. You don't want too much because you don't want to dilute that nice tomato juice flavor, right? Zing Zang, Zingzang. You may already be familiar with it.
That's the Bloody Mary mix.
That's the Bloody Mary mix. It's got plenty of spice. I don't even doctor it. Every now and then, if Donna makes one for me, she'll throw a little bit of horseradish in it for me.
And Tabasco.
And a little bit of Tabasco. But to be honest with you, I can drink it straight. It comes in single serving cans or bottles. And then about 3 shots in a glass this size. 3 shots of vodka and a celery stick. And the celery stick is always optional. I like them when we have them, but if we don't have one, I don't care. When I order them out, I always order them without garnish.
It's a stir stick.
Just give me my Bloody Mary mix and my vodka and a little bit of ice, and I'm good to go. I'm sorry, you were going into the wrap up, and I interrupted.
No,
you.
it's all good. Listen, you guys, don't forget to hit that like button and share the videos and subscribe, and we'll see you guys
Next week.